Hello, welcome to our Xenoloop first episode. So today here, Professor Jaffar Ali is with us to discuss about biodiesel and bioethanol. So let's get to know about it. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Nasreen, for this opportunity. In the given environment and climatic situations, bioenergy has revisited, I can say, from the
Hmm.
olden days where we have been using extensively the bioenergy sources. Now, in a modern way and a more cleaner way,
Hmm.
it is we have been necessitated to use bioenergy extensively
Mhm.
to mitigate our climate effect of minimizing the carbon footprint.
Hmm.
So apparently, it may look bioenergy releases CO2. One has to remember that it is a carbon neutral source
Hmm.
where we capture from the atmosphere, synthesize the biomass relevant precursor for this energy, and utilize them. Unlike where fossil fuels, we excavate from the earth, which has been deposited millions of years before, which adds up to the atmosphere. So the situation of CO2 level at present is about 420 parts per million in the atmosphere, which is very alarming. No amount of mitigating with renewable energy can minimize the effect of this towards climate change.
Renewable energy, very less amount of it is being produced. It is not feasible to for complete humanity,
Yeah, you are
and
correct.
it is a costly process. I have heard.
Yes,
So.
you're partly correct. The amount of energy is a measure of prosperity and development of any nation. So everyone want to aspire. Of course, you would like to aspire to be a
Hmm.
developed country, and everybody aspiring to be developed nations. Hence, consume huge amount of energy. And since it is abundantly available as a fossil source, we have adapted to exploit maximally the resources.
Hmm.
Then we had this problem. Now, if we need to change to an alternative energy, in terms of magnitude of energy resources, any alternative energy is not a match at the moment.
Hmm.
Hence, we are in a very tight situation of how to minimize this fossil fuel usage or the emission associated with the fossil fuel usage. So the cost of production need not be the big factor. Of course, any technology when it comes up, cost of production is a huge factor, but that is not a limiting factor. Limiting factor is amount of production of renewable energy is a limiting factor. For example, 15 years before in India, we say 1 unit of solar photovoltaic is 15 rupees.
Yeah.
Now it is less than 3 rupees,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that government regulated price. So technology as it gets adapted by more people, the cost can come down. Many methods, innovative methods can come up. But extent to which one can make is a big
Hmm.
challenge in all renewable energy. To some extent, in solar photovoltaic, wherever the sun shines, you have the source, and wherever the wind has certain threshold of velocity, we have wind energy source. So that's the only thing. But people are catching up, replacing renewable energy with the mainstream energy with 10%, 20%. We have been catching up worldwide.
Sir, then how to make the best form of like a bioethanol? It is made through various forms, right? So, what is the best method according to you?
Yeah, see, bioenergy is one part of renewable energy basket, which we need to look into it. And in that, see, the beauty of this bioenergy is you don't need to. It has an equivalent fossil fuel like energy. For
Hmm.
example, when you say petrol, diesel, and coal, they have liquid and gaseous form, and one can find equivalent energy in bio resources like ethanol is equivalent to petrol and biodiesel is equivalent to diesel and charcoal or briquettes, biomass briquettes are equivalent to coal.
Yeah.
So in terms of disrupting the usage of system, it is having less disruption. However, amount of energy available is a big challenge. Now coming back to the ethanol um, is a age-old technology that
Hmm.
ethanol is being produced across the world for the purpose of consumption and industrial use, never for the purpose of energy for long time. But we realize that ethanol is a good equivalent source for petroleum or gasoline source
Hmm.
of energy. However, when we go for it, main thing is food grains and would agricultural produce will be diverted for ethanol productions. Many countries adapt agricultural produce for ethanol production. For example, Brazil adapts entire sugarcane industry for ethanol productions. Indonesia adapts palm oil for biodiesel productions. They adapt food grains for them. European country go for food grains for their biofuel production. However, there is a difference for Indian scenario. We are agri-based economy. We cannot divert our water resources and food resources towards energy sector.
Yeah.
So, but it has to be utilized. So the way out for this is there's a huge potential of waste biomass, which can be utilized for energy production. And the waste biomass, I mean, whenever you have a rice produced or a wheat produced, about 1 ton of rice production brings out 1 ton or even more than a ton of organic waste in terms
Yes,
of
yes.
husk, in terms of straw, in terms of many part of this plant as a waste. At the moment, our farmers never make use of this waste. So these materials are called lignocellulosic biomass. So, see for example, ethanol is produced from cellulosic biomass, which all this starch you may be knowing that barley
Yeah,
and
yeah.
rice
Yes, sir.
starch-based biomass, which is nothing but glucose, polymer of glucose. Whereas if you go for a lignocellulosic biomass, it will have a glucose moiety as well as some other hard hardwood like lignin. One has to utilize this thing for ethanol fermentations. So now we make a call. Let's not use grains and food products for ethanol productions. Let's concentrate on second generation biomass, what they call a second generation biomass, waste biomass from agricultural produce for ethanol productions. But there are challenges in terms of how much you produce and what is the rate at which you can produce.
Okay. Sir, okay, as you said that the waste which has been from the agriculture produce can be used in this process. So how far do you think farmers are aware of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Farmers' knowledge, it's not that awareness on farmers, it's an economy of the farmers, affordability and economy of the farmers is what I can say, because farmers know this can be made use of it, but it costs them labor to collect this waste biomass and process. Already, our agriculture sector is on a low profit margin. They work. The best example for this is stubble burning in North,
Yeah.
because collecting that waste biomass from field is a labor cost. Many methodology have been devised how one can mitigate this labor cost so that there can be some economic benefit for them. Government periodically thinks about policies and measures how to address this thing. At some point, it will come. Hopefully, we have earmark on utilization of ethanol as a blend in petroleum because, as I said, ethanol is equivalent to petrol. We cannot produce that much of ethanol which can replace petrol. So whatever we produce, we can blend it inside petroleum
Yeah.
petrol. So government have earmarked about 10 to 20% of blended petrol can be sold, so that people start to produce biofuel
Yes.
as ethanol. And the target biomass shall be your lignocellulosic waste biomass. So yeah, that's the
Okay.
main sources.
Mm.
There are difficulty in processing them.
Mhm.
Technology is perfected how to make, but utilizing there is another difficulty how to mitigate the cost for the farmers, how to spread the economy so that it's profitable for the farmers. It can be value added things to the farmers. Those things one has to
Mm.
address. The work
Okay.
is towards that only
Okay.
happening, at least in Indian focus.
Mhm. Sir, as we are a developing country, so government backup is very important. Like a government should come forward regarding farmers or regarding bioethanol or anything. Whenever a new technology comes up, as we know, the cost of production and whenever it to reach to the common man, it takes time. So, how far do you think government policies is helping out in the production of bioethanol?
Yeah.
Mm.
So fortunately, it is picking up. But
Mm.
unfortunately, for a long time, renewable energy mean mostly many of these administrators thinks only photovoltaic energy.
Mhm.
This has been our because it's a readily available, easily implementable. Not much technology is perfected. Not much manpower is human resources involved in
Mm.
translating them. Make biggest hurdle is human resource, and peasant is a low economy human resource.
Mm.
But now that realization of need for ethanol has come up, government has developed policies. It has notified it's mandatory for all these refineries to include ethanol. Then it has developed policies. Whoever can set up ethanol producing plant schemes has been
Mm.
developed, but it has still not percolated to grassroots level of farmers.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurship potential exists. Like someone has to collect this biomass, process them, and set up conversion biomass to ethanol conversion fermentation facilities. Then they can talk to, use the government policies of subsidies for setting up this industry.
Mhm.
Then there will be a guaranteed buyback from the refineries.
Mhm.
Those exist, but how it reaches out to farmer, still a lot of
Mhm.
teething problem is there. Is
Okay.
not exist there.
Mhm. So, do you think people are doing that? Like, people are aware of it, such thing of entrepreneurship is available
Yes,
in
yes,
today's
yeah,
society?
it is coming up. Either it's coming up. See,
Mm.
people know the technology of taking starchy material, fermenting it, making
Mm.
ethanol.
Mm.
It's like a cottage industry. Anybody can make it.
Yeah.
Because of the regulations, it's not being made by anybody because
Mhm.
alcohol is a regulated product, methanol is a toxic.
Mm.
So hence it comes under huge regulation. And alcohol is a lot of taxable product, so that also comes under regulation. But technology-wise, anybody can produce.
Mhm.
But the point is not the production of ethanol. The point is how to utilize waste biomass for the production of ethanol of that
Mhm.
huge quantity where it can use as a fuel.
Okay.
So that's the challenge. Now someone has to come and say all the straw of the rice straw I collect, then I process, then I extract ethanol and for the supply. All the bagasse I collect from the sugarcane industry, process and make the ethanol for
Mm.
the. So these are the challenges,
Mm.
and then collection and conversion technology are the challenges. So any improvement in terms of cost reduction in the conversion process or an indigenous method of locally collecting it and having small entrepreneur locally, because transport is a huge cost.
Mm.
Collection is a huge
Mm.
labor
Mm.
cost.
Mm.
So some model of locally collecting it and
Yes.
putting it up. So many small innovation leading towards productization of ethanol is the key for the success. And since demand is now more than what is
Mhm.
available, I am very hopeful that with time, many people will show interest on
Okay.
production of ethanol towards this.
I have heard that in your research you have mainly concentrated on bioethanol, biodiesel. You are pretty aware of it.
Yes.
So, what would you think that is the best technology that has been developed in India recent times?
In terms of it's this the technology of conversion, nobody talks about the route of conversion as the best technology, but as I said, any increment, any improvement in the lignocellulosic biomass conversion is the welcome technology. So even the other day or 2 months before, when I was in a conference, one entrepreneur has told me, even if you 1% increase in the conversion of lignocellulosic biomass to glucose, glucose is a precursor for
Mm.
ethanol production. Is if you show, then there are people who can buy your technology for fermentation. So
Mm.
the limitation is how you saturify, make it glucose
Okay.
of a given cellulosic biomass. Okay, so there are enzymatic route to dissolve, hydrolyze them. There are chemical route to hydrolyze them. People follow many processes. So if any process which a minimal chemical footprint, minimal time and maximal yield comes, they are welcome. We made a small attempt towards
Mhm.
this
Mm.
as a research level, but I cannot say this is the best technology available.
Mhm.
For example, we have utilized solar energy to saturify the biomass by a photocatalytic method using a catalyst and solar energy. We make glucose precursors that ferment them for ethanol production. So the point here is I don't use chemical to make them
Oh.
hydrolyze
Mhm.
them. I don't use enzyme to do it. I use energy from the sun and a catalyst material to do a preliminary hydrolysis and use them for a fermentation process. Even though the quantity may be less, but it shows definitely a different
It's more
approach of
sustainable.
sustainable and different approach of doing it. And scale up is a different technology itself. So somehow even The process can be very good, but in scale up it may fail, or the process can be average, but it will have tremendous scale up capability. So with time, one knows how it can come up. So little part of it we innovated how to utilize a biomass without using chemical and enzyme, hydrolyze them for ethanol production. That's one aspect. Then worldwide people pursue is cost of ethanol production should be mitigated by developing some other product which can bring down the cost. For
Yes,
example,
yes.
ethanol production cost is 100 rupees per liter.
Mm.
Nobody can buy. If it is 20 rupees per liter only, I can sell. Now let me see whether some other product I can make from this biomass, which can be 500 rupees per kilogram or 5,000 rupees per kilogram, that will bring down overall cost of my ethanol production. So this is called uh, valorization of biomass, maximally utilizing and converting biomass into various useful products and generate revenue, and revenue for ethanol production can be less. So this is a worldwide approach is being happening towards a biorefinery type of approach. So we made a small humble attempt in the lab where where a microalgal biomass is completely valorized, where a very valuable phycocyanin product, which has very good, very good quality phycocyanin, has a huge market potential, has been produced to show that by producing phycocyanin from the biomass, and then the rest of the residual biomass converted them into ethanol, the cost of ethanol production comes down. By removing phycocyanin, it doesn't minimize the amount of production. The production amount of production of ethanol remains same. Okay. Even if we have not removed phycocyanin, same amount of ethanol it would have given me. So now by removing it, I gain some revenue. That revenue can equalize on the product. This is a conventional approach people follow, and we also followed, but we showed in a very quantitative way how economizing can be done. Okay. Yeah. So that what in a nutshell, what I can say is only fuel production cannot bring down the cost. If you keep some other integrated approach towards making use of the biomass, it will drastically bring down the cost of production. Okay. So it should not be one product; it should be a portfolio of product. Then the cost of ethanol production can come down.
So, do you think for a common man it is feasible to make all these products, or should there be an expert to handle this?
Obviously, this when you go for this level of production, it is not the reach of a common man, but it doesn't even require a huge rocket science to do this. That's I should tell you that a reasonably qualified person who knows to implement the processes can make ethanol production possible. Now, the challenge there for him is coordinating with the peasant and the farmer to collect biomass and bringing out an economy model that within that range it become cost effective, because if we expand the range of land for coverage, transportation cost will shoot up. Yeah. Have set up small micro satellite centers for mass biomass collection and processing. Yeah, so it is but having said this, if you go for a biorefinery type of approach, that is expensive process. I should not keep you in a dark telling that biorefinery is not costly. Like existing refinery, a biorefinery is extremely costly. That means you entrepreneurship potential exists. You make a pre-collection processing, pre-processing of biomass, pre-treatment of it, then hand it over to an expert institution. Like best example is a dairy farm. See, dairy industry is a sophisticated place, whereas it connects many people who are less sophisticated. A person to collect a booth in every village to collect the milk. Yes. So then this is not chain value chain of activity happening. Then it taken to a sophisticated place of a dairy farm, which is a biorefinery in our place, in our concept, that they can process. Yeah, so it gives an opportunity for an expert as well as less qualified people to come in as an integrated solution.
Did India adopt any technology which is feasible for us to produce the 20% of ethanol as government policy says?
Yeah, India has lacking behind, but in research and technology, it has a separate division in renewable energy which caters for the bioenergy productions. It has policies for setting up ethanol producing industry and incentive scheme has brought it, but lot more India has to do if it expects the benefit of transition to this biofuel goes to the common man, like at the farmer level. Lot many policies has to adapt. Now, it's a difficulty it's between states and the center. Both are involved.
Mm-hmm.
See, farming is activity is governed by the state, and some schemes are sponsored by the center. So their coordination is very essential, both state and central government, and then come up with a good scheme. The state of Karnataka tried a very nice scheme at some level, maybe 10 years before, on converting biomass to biofuel, but still it has not seen the way.
Okay.
Okay. But this model emerged from state of Karnataka, that dairy model type of biomass collection and processing. Yeah, I hope it will more and more clarity and focused scheme will come with time.
So what I understood is it is a booming thing now.
Yes, yes,
So we have to still work on it. We
yes,
are working on it.
yes.
So, mm,
Any innovation which can increase product yield or reduce the cost of production will be a big way. See,
yeah.
for example, just to in continuation of what we talk about our research, few aspect we innovated, and for example, the biomass collection and processing is a big bottleneck. Microalgae is one such biomass where one can make bioethanol by fermentations. But my microalgae is cultured or cultivated. Collection of microalgae is a challenge. You have to filter it, or you have to centrifuge it, or you need to do a chemical flocculation to collect the biomass. So our laboratory has shown a way that it can be a self flocculating concept can be induced, so that at a particular pH condition, it automatically flocculates itself, and we have less labor to collect. So even though it may look simple, what is there? It's self flocculating, and you are collecting. The entire time and process process machinery for collection of biomass is being bypassed. That
Okay.
means some saving of money happened there. So likewise, any small innovation will help us in drastically reducing the cost of production.